Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Uh, Thank you so much, Reverend Christine, and thank the First Parish Church. Thank you for your generosity, for your warm welcome, and for hosting us, inviting us into your spiritual home at such short notice. Really appreciate it. What a whirlwind of a week, huh? And we are here. It took extraordinary effort to make this conference happen in less than 3 days' time. After the late cancellation by the University of Southern Maine, and I want to applaud our amazing conference team, and I also want to thank you, our audience, our participants, you who wrote letters to the University of Southern Maine, who suggested venues, who called in on friends and contacts for help or donated. Thank you all very much. As the Reverend said, we are together. Friends, Gaza and Palestine as a whole have been a test, and the world has failed. We are seeing the severe consequences of this failure after 2.5 years of horrific genocide and continuing ethnic cleansing for Palestinians, but also for the rest of the world. We are discovering just how callous and brutal the intertwining systems of political and economic power are. Masks are falling off, hypocrisies are being exposed, and naked power and greed are coming out of hiding, here in the US and internationally. This is, at least in part, the consequence of Palestine. Israel's conduct has prompted massive shifts in global public opinion. Millions have taken to the streets. Settler colonialism in Palestine is finally being understood. Indictments of Israeli leaders by the International Criminal Court have been issued, and cases have been presented before the International Court of Justice. Yet, US and European countries continue to provide financial, military, and diplomatic support for Israel, blocking international efforts to stop the killing and efforts to seek accountability of any sort. Multilateralism has never been so undermined since the Second World War. UN agencies have been banned or sanctioned. Jurists of the International Criminal Court and human rights experts, including our guest speaker today, Francesca Albanese, have been sanctioned and threatened. The universities have been cowed, students silenced, and activists for human rights and justice labeled terrorist. This has given Israel carte blanche to continue to violate international humanitarian and human rights law with impunity, and emboldened it to expand its wars into Lebanon, Syria, and now, of course, Iran. The Trump administration has also been cashing in on its own carte blanche. The US attacks boats and commits extrajudicial executions in the Caribbean, abducts heads of state in Venezuela, and bullies all the rest in Latin America, plots to take over other countries, and is now openly attacking Iran to effect regime change, very blatantly and openly stated. Most confounding is the so-called Board of Peace, a brazenly corrupt body that includes indicted war criminals and wealthy states buying their way into Emperor Trump's favor, as the US withdraws from dozens of international organizations and treaties. By abandoning international law and accountability, we are rapidly returning to an age of naked imperialism and extreme and often racist nationalism. We know very well where that ends. The lessons of history and facts of science are left to gather dust on academic shelves, while rumor, innuendo, lies, and hasbara have become the basis for policy. The corporate media uses its power of narrative in such a way as to become effectively complicit. A genocide becomes a conflict where tens of thousands of people simply died. Discussions of documented reports of genocide and crimes against humanity require that we hear both sides of the story. Heads of state are captured, not kidnapped, and different people deserve different levels of empathy and consideration. We only have a few independent and courageous media outlets that investigate, question, and challenge false narratives and made-up histories. This is why we wanted to talk about the consequence of Palestine. The last 2 years should have upended business as usual discussions of Palestine and the Middle East. In 2026, it is entirely tone deaf to think about politics as a geopolitical chess game between state actors, with the little attention paid to the human lives those state actors are responsible for protecting. Not after the international community's abject failure to respond to Gaza, to protect civilians, one of the most important lessons of World War II. Over time, the US and the world will pay a very heavy price for this failure. In the meantime, those who speak out openly and clearly about an alternative, human rights-based vision, who demand accountability and a level playing field, are already paying a heavy price. None more so than our keynote speaker this morning. Francesca needs no introduction. She is fearless as UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights in the Palestinian territories occupied in 1967. Her reporting is impeccable. Her courage in speaking truth to power is an inspiration to all of us. Thank you. We had a moment of panic just earlier. That's why we were delayed starting. Francesca was not responding, but apparently she had a minor car accident. We're very, very happy you're here with us and you're safe. Welcome, Francesca. Please talk to us.